We've seen dramatic increases in technology in pretty much every facet of our life. The one thing we haven't seen, though, is in the financial technology space, these legacy cores. Some of them are 20, 30, 40 years old. So as banks are acquiring other banks, they've really got to take a look underneath the hood and see what's the technology that this bank is running. I found that sometimes you'll go into a bank and they're running a 30-year-old core platform that they've never touched. It's still green screens. The employees, they can't leave because no one else knows how to use the solution. This is an important aspect to understand about any bank that you may be looking to acquire. You have to really understand what is the technology, how old is it, and is this anything that we can even use moving forward? It's been my experience that technology costs can actually sideline an acquisition if they become too great for the acquiring bank to stomach. Case in point, if you're going to acquire a bank that has maybe 7 years left on a legacy core contract with multiple other contracts that are staggered throughout there, the cost of that and the disruption to the bank may actually prevent you from even going through with the acquisition. So as banks are in the marketplace looking for potential acquisitions, some of the key questions they need to be asking themselves are, what are the existing contracts within the FIs that are looking at, right? That can be a legacy core platform. Is it on-premise? Is it service bureau? What are the contract terms with the bolt-ons such as bill pay or online banking? They need to be able to understand what are the challenges with the training that goes into potential acquisition and blending that into the bank as the acquirer as well. There are several integration challenges that a bank has to face after the acquisition is completed. One of the biggest questions that come up is, who has the better technology? You can't just default that the bigger bank automatically has more sophisticated core or other third-party services because they're the bigger bank. Sometimes the smaller bank brings to the table more effective core platforms than even the bigger one does. So the question has to be answered, whose technology survives? So once the decision is made whose technology is going to survive, you have to start thinking about the future. A lot of banks are on a continual acquisition spree. So they have to understand as they acquire other banks, how will the technology that they're going to use moving forward fit in with that plan as well. One of the other key factors that you have to think about is how easy is it for the employees to actually utilize the technology within the bank. As banks continue to grow and acquire and bring on new systems, the employees have to have an intelligent learning system so that they can actually deploy and use it on a daily basis. One of the things a bank can do when identifying an acquisition is to figure out who within that institution owns the relationships with the existing technology. What I found is that if they go to that person and they work with the existing vendors, they can typically work on the contracts, they can help alleviate some of those fees, because if not, the acquiring bank's going to come in and have to pay hefty exit, deconversion, and sometimes buying out the entire contract for the bank that they're acquiring.